Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping you navigate life's challenges and opportunities with wisdom and financial savvy. It's so good to see you here, especially if you're over 40, because we know this stage of life can come with its own unique set of questions and concerns. To kick things off, if you're interested in enhancing your life, and I think you are, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. The Buddha wisely said, "He who sits alone, lies down alone, walks alone in diligent practice, and alone tames himself should find delight in living in the forest." It's a powerful statement, isn't it? In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, solitude can seem almost countercultural. We are constantly bombarded with messages that equate a successful and happy life with being surrounded by people and possessions. The idea of intentionally seeking out aloneness can feel a bit scary, even isolating for many. Yet, throughout history, nearly all spiritual traditions have recognized and even celebrated the profound benefits of solitude. It's a practice that offers a unique opportunity for self-discovery and inner peace. If these words are giving you new ways to think about your life, please consider subscribing to this channel. There's a compelling reason why nearly all spiritual paths emphasize the importance of a solitary life, or at least incorporating periods of solitude into our routines. Think about it, almost all great religious leaders found it necessary to distance themselves from the chaos and demands of society in order to seek liberation and find the answers they were seeking. They retreated to quiet places, away from distractions, to cultivate introspection and deepen their understanding of themselves and the world. The Supreme Buddha himself is a perfect example of this very principle. As we continue, if what you have heard so far has resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Before becoming the Buddha, he was Prince Siddhartha, living a life of luxury and privilege within the palace walls. He indulged in sensual pleasures, as was expected of him, yet he came to the profound realization that these fleeting experiences did not provide lasting happiness or true fulfillment. He understood that a life solely focused on immediate gratification would not lead him to the answers he sought. Driven by a deeper yearning for truth and enlightenment, he made the courageous decision to leave the palace and embark on a journey of self-discovery. He wandered from forest to forest, meditating and seeking inner peace, a peace that ultimately eluded him within the confines of his privileged existence. Now, living alone can be a double-edged sword. When approached with intention and self-awareness, solitude can be a remarkable blessing, a catalyst for personal growth and spiritual awakening. However, for many, it can also be a curse, a breeding ground for loneliness, negativity, and self-doubt. This is why so many people fear being alone. They are apprehensive about facing their own thoughts and emotions without the distractions of external validation. People are often saying things to me like, "I'm lonely, I'm living by myself, and so many negative thoughts come into my mind. What should I do?" And that is exactly what happens when you allow loneliness to become a curse. It truly depends on how you approach it, how you think about it, and how you choose to use the time. Let me share a story to illustrate this point. When Prince Siddhartha, before he became the Buddha, left the palace and ventured into the forest, he wasn't entirely alone. There were 5 monks already there, waiting for him. These monks had been assisting Siddhartha with his meditation practices prior to his departure from the palace. They adhered to the belief that the only path to liberation involved extreme forms of self-mortification, enduring harsh meditations, and subjecting the body to intense physical hardship. This practice is known as Kilamadan Yoga, which translates to self-mortification. Prince Siddhartha had come from one extreme, the indulgence in sensual pleasures within the palace, which he later described as the extreme of sensual pleasures. Now, he found himself at the other extreme, practicing self-mortification and subjecting his body to severe austerities. These 5 monks believed that this was the only way to achieve liberation. Siddhartha diligently practiced these extreme forms of meditation for 6 long years, but he eventually realized that this extreme approach was not leading him to the enlightenment he sought. He discovered the middle path, the middle way, which involved living a spiritual life while also maintaining a balance with his material needs. To continue on our voyage of wisdom, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. This realization led him to make a crucial decision, to nourish his body with food. After a prolonged period of self-denial, he accepted some sustenance, taking his alms bowl and going out to beg for food. He found something to eat and nourished his body. The 5 monks, who had held great expectations for Prince Siddhartha, were deeply disappointed by this action. They interpreted it as a sign of weakness, believing that he would soon return to the palace and his former life. Feeling disillusioned, they decided to abandon him. Following his alms round, Siddhartha returned to the forest and discovered that the 5 monks had left. He was completely alone. This unexpected solitude, however, proved to be the perfect environment for him to deepen his focus on himself. He was now presented with a unique opportunity to truly be present with his thoughts and emotions without the distractions of external influence. One day, as he sat beneath the Bodhi tree, he achieved enlightenment and became the Buddha. Therefore, when solitude is approached and used in the right way, it can indeed be a blessing. But that very same solitude can easily be turned into a curse. Most people who confide in me about their loneliness often express that when they are alone, their thoughts generate a certain energy within them, and that energy is negative. We understand from science that energy cannot be created or destroyed. You have energy within you, but it's negative. We can't destroy that negative energy. The only thing we can do is to transform it, to redirect that negative energy towards something positive. So, how can we channel this loneliness, this negative energy, towards something constructive? One of the primary reasons people feel lonely is because they lack a sense of purpose, a goal to strive for in their lives. When individuals have a goal, a clear objective that they are working towards, they are less likely to feel lonely because they are actively engaged in something meaningful. This goal could be material or spiritual, but everyone should have some spiritual aspirations, regardless of their background. There will come a time in all of our lives when we find ourselves alone, with no one else around. If we haven't cultivated any inner strength or spiritual practices, we will likely feel lonely again and again, building up this negative energy within us. And sometimes, it can be too late to correct this. So, the best approach is to learn how to transform negative energy into something positive. To do that, you must have a personal goal and a meaningful aim. Ask yourself what you should be doing with your life, what kind of person you aspire to be, what qualities you want to develop, and what you want to create. We can always identify areas in our lives that need improvement, weaknesses that we can address. Working on these areas will lead to greater success, productivity, happiness, and peace. But to achieve this, what do you need? You need dedicated time to focus on yourself. And the best opportunity to focus on yourself comes when you are alone. That's why I always advise people to set aside a dedicated time during the day, just for themselves, a me time, as some people call it. Having this me time is essential. Make it a practical habit. Dedicate at least 15 minutes each day, no matter how busy you are, to be alone with yourself. Put away your phone, turn off Netflix, and avoid all distractions. Just be with your thoughts. Learn to be comfortable in your own company. This is how you can cultivate a deeper connection with yourself. And that's how we become more focused. I hope this has given you some ideas on how to transform loneliness into a blessing. Embrace this practice in your life and enjoy the beauty of solitude. Now, let me share a story. One day, a wild bull was wandering down a street and spotted a lush paddy field. Wow, he thought, that looks delicious. I need to eat some of that. So, he jumped the fence and began feasting on the rice plants. However, a mindful farmer was carefully watching his field, and he quickly noticed the bull. The farmer ran over, grabbed the bull by its horns, tied its muzzle shut, and gave it a sound beating. The confused and sore bull ran away. But bulls, as you may know, have a short memory. The next day, the same bull was walking down the same street, saw the same paddy field, and once again jumped the fence and started eating. And once again, the mindful farmer was watching and gave him another sound beating. This cycle continued for a while. One day, the bull started to think, wait a minute, every time I jump into that field, I get beaten up by that farmer. So, that day, when he walked by the paddy field, he resisted the urge to jump in. He was disciplined. He passed the field without giving in to his craving. The Buddha used this wonderful story as a metaphor to deliver a beautiful message. This, he said, is the nature of our mind. It's like that wild bull, forgetting everything, running towards tempting but ultimately harmful desires, and lacking discipline. We must become like the mindful farmer, watching our thoughts and taking control of them. How can we take control of our thoughts? The Buddha offered a beautiful way to do it. He said that whenever your mind is drawn towards unwholesome thoughts, you must consider the downsides and dangers of those thoughts. For example, if you feel hatred rising in your mind, recognize that it's not good for you, for your physical health, or your mental well-being. It's not good for you, and it's not good for others. By consciously considering the dangers of negative thoughts, you can stay away from them and cultivate discipline within your mind. But to accomplish this, we need one essential quality, mindfulness. The Buddha advises us to watch our minds like a farmer watching his field. Without mindfulness, we cannot do any of these things. We cannot shift our minds from unwholesomeness to wholesomeness. Mindfulness is the bedrock of positive change. And we must also consider the potential dangers of our thoughts, because a single thought can create a beautiful world or destroy it. That's the power of our mind. So, understand that our minds are naturally like wild bulls. Many people complain when they start meditating, my mind is not disciplined. It's always busy, running here and there. I'm scattered. Well, in the beginning, we all are. It's only when we start meditating that we realize how busy and scattered our minds truly are. What we need to do is to kindly bring our minds back to wholesomeness whenever they get distracted, disturbed, or drawn to unwholesome thoughts. You may have to do this repeatedly, for years, but there will come a day when your mind becomes more disciplined, but only if you persevere. It's all about the small steps you take each day to discipline your mind. And that's the wonder of the Buddhist path. Every practice, every teaching of the Buddha, adds up, contributing to a richer and more fulfilling life. It's not easy to discipline our minds. It's difficult, it can be painful, but we must keep doing it, again and again, until that day comes when we cultivate a beautiful, disciplined mind. Keep practicing, and be happy. Nam Buddha. Welcome, and welcome back to another video. A couple of weeks ago, we posted a video about self-love. Let's take a quick look. Remember, the more you love yourself, the more selfless you become. Do not confuse self-love with selfishness. Many of you have asked in the comments, what's the difference between self-love and selfishness? That's what we are going to talk about today. To understand the difference, let's start with selfishness. Selfishness always stems from the unsatisfied nature of our minds. It means we are not content with ourselves, or with others. We try to fill this void in our minds by satisfying ourselves. We create expectations for ourselves and others, and when those expectations are not met, we chase after them relentlessly, going beyond healthy limits. A person becomes more selfish, thinking only of their own happiness, pleasure, and advantage. They stop considering the happiness of others. Remember, selfishness always comes from a place of dissatisfaction. On the other hand, self-love is born from compassion, understanding, and acceptance. When you truly understand who you are and accept yourself unconditionally, you develop compassion for yourself. You understand your strengths and limitations, and you give yourself the time and space to heal and develop your inner qualities. As you practice this patience with yourself, you become more patient with others, understanding that everyone has their imperfections. This understanding makes you more compassionate and selfless. You become more generous because you know what it feels like to struggle and experience pain. Developing this patience and compassion leads to genuine self-love. We don't deny or reject who we are. We become understanding and accepting of ourselves, content with who we are, and grateful for what we have in our lives. We don't demand that others fulfill our expectations or refuse to give anything in return. These selfish emotions disappear when we cultivate self-love. So understand the fundamental difference: self-love stems from compassion, while selfishness stems from dissatisfaction. The Buddha said, if you love yourself, you have to guard your mind from evil things, evil thoughts like jealousy, hatred, aversion, and envy. When you protect your mind from these unwholesome thoughts, you protect yourself, and that is self-love. And when you protect yourself, you protect others. Keep this beautiful advice from the Buddha in mind, and be happy. In the past, there was an acrobat who performed stunts on a bamboo pole, and he had a student. One day, the acrobat called his student over and said, "Dear student, let's perform stunts on this bamboo pole and earn a good living. But remember, when I'm doing stunts, you must protect me, and when you're doing stunts, I will protect you. This way, we can ensure our safety and prosper together." The student replied, "No, sir, that's not the best way. The correct way is for you to protect yourself when you're doing stunts, and for me to protect myself when I'm doing stunts. That way, we both take responsibility for our own well-being, and we can both thrive." The Buddha used this story to deliver a profound message: protect yourself from unwholesome actions, thoughts, and speech. When you protect yourself, you also protect others. How can we protect ourselves? The Buddha teaches us to practice mindfulness. When you're mindful, you are more aware of your actions, thoughts, and words. When you are more mindful, you can take control of your life. When your life is under your control, you are protected. And when you protect yourself, you also protect others. Similarly, the Buddha encourages us to practice loving-kindness, compassion, and humility. When we cultivate these qualities, we shield ourselves from hatred, ego, and jealousy. Protecting ourselves from unwholesome thoughts safeguards both ourselves and those around us. The Buddha emphasized that no one can save us but ourselves. We need to take control of our thoughts, actions, and words. By doing so, we care for ourselves and offer protection to the world. Keep this beautiful advice from the Buddha in mind, and be happy. Nam Buddha. Welcome, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're tackling one of the most frequently asked questions in Buddhism: can we change our karma? Can we alter our past actions and their consequences? Let's explore this together. To understand this, we first need to define karma. While many Indian religions address karma, Buddhism offers a slightly different perspective. In Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism, the teaching of karma is strong and complex, but the Buddhist perspective is slightly different from the others. What defines the karma is the intention behind the action. That is why the Buddha said, intention is karma. So let's find out what that means. The Buddha said, "Monks, I say intention is karma." This emphasizes that karma is more mind-related. It's not just the action itself but the intention behind it that truly defines the karma. That's the Buddhist definition of karma. Now, back to the question, can we change karma? Well, first, let's refine the question. What people really mean is, can I change what I've done in the past, and can I change the consequences of those actions? First, it's important to understand that karma, or intention, is generated right now, in this present moment. It's not just something in the past. Karma is what you do right now. So in the present moment, that karma can be changed because it's always your choice. The choice itself is the karma. Your choice is entirely under your control. Some believe that our choices are predetermined by past karma, but the Buddha disagreed. He acknowledged that our lives are influenced by past actions, but that's not the only factor. We can change our karma by making good choices and taking the right actions in the present. That's why the Buddha emphasized the importance of acting rightly. So, karma happens now, making it within your control. Can we change our karma? No. Instead, ask, can we change the consequences of our karma? This brings up another term, vipaka, which means the consequences of karma. Karma is a cause and effect phenomenon. We create causes, and effects follow. We do actions, and consequences result. So, can we change vipaka? Not entirely. We don't fully know what we've done in the past, so the only thing we can do is experience those consequences. Remember, our lives are not solely determined by karma. It's just one influencing factor. So, if you're experiencing a consequence of past karma, can you do anything about it? You can't prevent the experience, but you can change how you react to it. Whether it's good or bad, you can make conscious choices to face it with wisdom and understanding. By acting rightly in the present, you can stop the negative karma from repeating. If you react to a painful experience with anger or hatred, you create more suffering karma for the future. But if you react with wisdom, patience, and mindfulness, you can break the cycle. So, while we have limited control over the past and its consequences, we have complete control over the choices we make right now. Keep this beautiful advice from the Buddha in your heart, and be happy. Nam Buddha. Nam Buddha. Welcome to another video. Today, I want to introduce you to another simple practice of mindfulness. Previously, we discussed mindfulness in breathing meditation, how to do it, when to use it, and how to apply it. That practice is best done in a seated position. But the practice I am going to introduce today doesn't need that. You can practice this while walking, sitting, lying down, or standing. It is a simple and practical mindfulness exercise that you can include in your daily life. So, what is this practice? It's called Iryapatha. That's the term the Buddha used for it. Iryapatha can be translated as mindfulness in all four postures. Let's examine how the Buddha defined this. The Buddha said, again, when walking, a bhikkhu understands, I am walking. When standing, he understands, I am standing. When sitting, he understands, I am sitting. When lying down, he understands, I am lying down. Or he understands accordingly however his body is disposed. That's the definition of Iryapatha meditation. The Buddha's definition instructs the monks how to meditate, but it can be applied to everyone. The Buddha teaches that when you're walking, you should understand that you're walking. When you are standing, understand that you're standing. When you are sitting, understand that you're sitting. When you're lying down, understand that you're lying down. And, in any position you are in, you need to be aware of your posture. So this is the definition given to us by the Buddha. The Buddha specifically uses the word understand, or we can translate understand to being aware. But what does it mean to understand? I am referring to the word understand, and in this explanation, the understand we are referring to is the awareness that your body is placed right now. Right now, you might be listening to this video or audio while walking. In that case, you have to be aware of your posture. This is when you ask yourself, okay, what am I doing right now? And that may mean you are sitting down and listening to this video. In that case, just feel how you are feeling. This helps you understand what sitting is. And that feeling is the awareness of posture. As you understand the body, you understand the feeling of being at a certain state. As you understand the posture, you will bring your mind that was wandering. When we simply become aware of these feelings, we bring the past or future to the present moment. Whenever you are free, ask from yourself, what am I doing right now? If you become aware of your posture, you might say, okay, I'm sitting down. You might be aware of the feelings of your buttocks, of your hands, of your back. You simply become aware of how the body is placed. When you do that, you bring your mind to the present moment. Now, at this moment, there is a feeling that is generated through this posture. All we have to do is be aware of these feelings. You can do this at any time of the day. For example, you might be commuting to work. Most people listen to music or scroll social media or talk to someone. But this is also a good time to practice mindfulness. You can close your eyes and simply be aware of the posture. That's all you need to do. This is how you practice it. Someone might ask if this is related to mindfulness. It certainly is. Mindfulness is about bringing your mind from the past or future to the present, and to be more focused inwardly. It's a component of mindfulness meditation. So this is called a meditation. I taught you the first step of Iryapatha. There are other steps to follow, but this is the first step we have to master. Whenever you're free, find time to practice. For instance, after work, make a cup of tea, sit in a chair, and drink your tea. Simply be aware of your posture. Ask yourself, what am I doing right now? What feelings am I experiencing? What is my posture? When you do that, it's a simple practice of mindfulness. The more you do it, the more used to it you'll become, and the more your mind will be present. Add this simple practice to your daily life. I wish you all may be healthy, happy, and free from all suffering. Nam Buddha. The other day, while giving a speech, someone from the audience asked, no matter how much I plan for the new year, I fail to achieve my goals. Why? It turns out this is a common problem. We all make plans, but we don't always succeed. The reason is that we are trying to do more. In reality, what makes your dreams come true is not doing more, but doing less. This contradicts what our society often tells us. But what do I mean by doing less? It means doing only what is important, removing unnecessary things from your life, and prioritizing what matters most. If you ask yourself, what is important in my life? What qualities should I develop to be successful? Then you can focus on that. We fail to achieve the important things in life because our crucial goals are covered by unimportant things that don't help us in the long run. Also, we often have too much expectation. It's okay to have them, but having too much makes your expectations and reality distant from each other, which causes us to suffer because we fall short of the expectations. It leads us to hate ourselves. In turn, you can blame yourself. The more you can't do those things, the more you can't do those things. The more you blame, the less we try to achieve, because we label ourselves as incapable. The key is to have moderate expectations. You should still have them, but avoid setting the bar too high. What I was taught to tell people when I give speeches is, when you step into the stage, do not think you are going to earn a standing ovation, have a confidence that is moderate. When you have that moderate expectations, it is more reasonable when we fail at any given task or goal. We know that we are imperfect, and this pain has lessened to nothing than when we are being too high on our expectations. One of the most important qualities is to focus on little changes. To achieve big changes in your life, start from making little changes. Most of the time, we try to solve problems as a whole. But the reason we are at this point in the present is due to a series of issues that we need to fix. Let's say you feel stress. Instead of solving everything all at once, you can stand up and clean your area. This adds some sort of positive energy around you, and if you want, you can clean your body a little bit and put on some clean clothing. This brings you some positive change to your life. So in essence, you are making small changes, and they make you have a positive change on your life as a whole. The Buddha, in Dhammadappa, says, by degrees, little by little, from moment to moment, a wise man removes his own impurities as a smith removes drops of silver or gold. A great quote I found recently says, learn a little bit, apply a little bit, and improve a little bit every single day. That's what we need to do. I invite all of you to learn a little bit, apply a little bit, and improve a little bit this new year. I wish you all be happy and healthy. Nam Buddha. In almost every religion, faith plays a significant role. Is it the same in Buddhism? Today, I want to show you the role of faith in Buddhism. Let's find out. The definition of the word faith, according to Google, says, strong belief in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual conviction rather than proof. One might think that Buddhism is not a religion but a philosophy, so there is no faith involved. But the truth is, faith exists in Buddhism, and it is one of the most important virtues of any practitioners. However, faith in Buddhism is a lot different from the definitions of the word. The word in Pali for faith is saddha, and the word in Sanskrit for faith is shraddha. Buddha defines shraddha as, and what, bhikkhu, is the power of faith. Here, a noble disciple is endowed with faith. He places faith in the enlightenment of the Tathagata, thinking, the Blessed One is an arahant, perfectly enlightened, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate, knower of the world, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of devas and human beings, the enlightened one, the Blessed One. This is called the power of faith. The Blessed One is a great follower of enlightenment and realization of the Buddha. We must not be stuck in blind faith. Your faith must be beyond that. The blind faith is called amulika. This gives a meaning of rootless, and therefore, there is no root for your faith. The faith praised by the Buddha is called akravati, which means, it is a confidence that is based upon self-exploration and practice. There are 5 ways of having saddha in everything. The first is sota, which means mere believing. You believe things in the family that you are born into. The second is roki, which means you believe in the things that you like. The third is anusava, which means that you believe it because someone told you. The fourth is, it means you are thinking logically, and the fifth is, you believe it because these relate to your personal views. What the Buddha teaches that your confidence should be beyond those 5. Here is something like the statue in the dark. Let's say that you and I are distant to each other, but you see the statue and I do not because you are more closer to the statue. This is a lightning moment where I can see it, but you can't. The person far away will rely on your words that there is a statue in that specific spot. But I see with my own eyes and I can verify because I experienced it. As such, the Buddhist faith must be something you can test and have practical experience, and this is how the Buddha defines shraddha. Therefore, it must have wisdom, and if there is no wisdom, you will just simply follow and believe what is in the practice. So we need to practice this. Take a look at the verse from the Buddha, faith is the seed. Austerity is the rain. Wisdom is my yoke and plow. Moral shame is the pole. Mind the yoke strap. Mindfulness my plow and God. Buddha is planting a seed. Wisdom, shame, mind and mindfulness makes for better confidence. We must believe in putting the seed for the soil. And this is similar to saying that the path of Buddhism is one that you are allowed to ask questions. So what is this path all about? Faith in Buddhism is an experiential belief. If anyone gives you any belief, you must wise in the reflection and think about putting this in practice and seeing what is right. So, the ideas must come from believing the truths to resonate. So I invite you to have mindfulness and the path. I wish that all truths resonate deeply. Nam Buddha. I recently read verse number 290 from the Dhammapada, and it says that if you see happiness in your life, then you let the smaller or the cheaper happiness go. This can be applied to any areas of your life, whether it is education or anything that is a part of you. There is something that is stopping you from all this. These can be entertainment or anything that is pleasurable, but this takes valuable time and steals time. So you have to be aware of everything. You need to be brave enough so that you don't waste and give time to these. The Buddha did right because he wanted to achieve something greater. There are people that say that Gautama left people and ran away from the palace and responsibilities, but that is not the truth. He knew that it was hard to get true happiness. So, he let go and became a monk. Now there is spiritual freedom and there is coming back to tell his former family. So you need to let those habits go. When there is something that is easy, it makes for a difficult life. You have to be a monk and practice. Everything that is hard to do is easy to do. When you are disciplined, you can earn the life. When things make discipline, it makes your life so much easier. We must believe that we need to attain freedom with hard work. You are always growing. What makes you far from the greatness that you are seeking? You need to be brave, and when you say no, it means a chance for you to give everything that really means the most. Nam Buddha.